Now, if there's one thing that Lucasfilm has been getting wrong so far, it has a lot to do with going way over budget for specific projects and lowering the marketing of a lot of upcoming projects. The biggest example of this by Kathleen Kennedy is Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny, and a lot more than that that we will actually be covering, and exactly what Lucasfilm is about to actually face by losing millions upon millions of dollars. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And without further ado, let's get right into the subject. Now, we know that the Dial of Destiny is going through a very rough patch right now. Kathleen Kennedy is demanding Disney to basically provide her more money for the marketing, to create a boost in the marketing essentially for the Dial of Destiny, to create more engagement, to get more fans into the theater seats. Because let's face it, there's not a lot of ads playing on a consistent basis for Indy 5. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't really seen all that much consistently day by day on TV or through internet ads. But moving on, this is where things begin to get very big of a concern for Lucasfilm, and how it does revolve around Star Wars a lot. So let's dive into all of this. Now, we know that Lucasfilm is actually going through another phase of delays, and this is mostly due in part to the writer's strike. All of those Star Wars movies that they announced at Celebration have been pushed, as well as other TV shows are now being pushed as well, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, what's interesting about all of this is that with Kathleen Kennedy, Leslie Headland, and John Watts all struggling with both the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew shows, one big obstacle that Lucasfilm is going through right now is said to involve a big financial loss for an upcoming project or projects that's been going through major problems. Now, Lucasfilm is set to lose tens of millions of dollars just for starters with the TV shows, where Skeleton Crew as a show went through a budget of roughly $136 million, which equals to around $17 million per episode, since Skeleton Crew will consist of 8 episodes. This is $2 million higher per episode than Mando Season 3's $15 million, and Kennedy made the call to go slightly over budget for the series. However, Kathleen Kennedy decided to pull back the marketing by around 60% as initially planned, which is close to what she did with both Indy 5 and the Acolyte's 80%. Combined with all 3 projects, Lucasfilm is aimed to lose hundreds of millions of dollars, mostly from Indy 5, along with subscriber loss on Disney Plus due to both Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte described as a fan divider series, making both choices, and bold choices, I should say, as big and serious as Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. Now, we know that the test screenings have been very subpar for the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, to the point where Disney executives, including Bob Iger, demanded reshoots and some revisions to post-production for Skeleton Crew. And there's been a lot of problems happening with both series. Now, we know that Leslie Headland is somebody that absolutely resents George Lucas. She herself even said, and we'll talk about this once more, if you look up to George Lucas only and you're only expecting him to be in the room or to be a part of Star Wars, then you're a misogynist. She literally said that back in 2019, and again in 2021, as well as in 2022, about how fans just look up to him way too much revolving around Star Wars, and that he is not the key to fulfilling the franchise. And yet she goes on stage at Celebration and says, "Star Wars saved my life," followed by making a fake cry moment, and not explaining how Star Wars saved her life. Just making fans, I guess, believe that she had some kind of story. But let's not go into that, right? Because that would actually require some work on her end. But moving to the next thing here, this is where things get quite concerning for Lucasfilm, and what more can you expect? I mean, lately Kathleen Kennedy has been making the worst of the worst decisions with Indy 5, Skeleton Crew, and the Acolyte so far. And thankfully John and Dave got it right. They know how to promote Ahsoka, they know how to get this out there, and we've seen so many ads playing on both the internet and on TV that it's really getting out there. So this may very well be their saving grace. Moving to the next thing now. So this is why a release date for Skeleton Crew has not been set yet, even though it's coming out this year. Not even a release month window was given the fans at Celebration, though it was hinted that we may be getting it by November to December of this year. This is due in part to upcoming reshoots and last-minute work on Skeleton Crew that may or may not delay the series until January of 24. Shocker. Many factors will determine that, with both Acolyte and Skeleton Crew along with Indy 5 described, of course, ad marketing disasters. This is easily setting them back by losing so much money that they may have to lower budgets on other upcoming projects, such as the Rey-centered Star Wars movie and other TV shows that are set to be announced at this year's D23 event that takes place in September. Kathleen Kennedy is actively begging Disney to pour more money into the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, however are refusing to do so after the recent mishandling of Indy 5's marketing strategy. So look, here's another prime example of Kathleen Kennedy absolutely going the wrong direction of promoting these major projects, and this is creating a domino effect for people like John and Dave that want to do better. You know, now they're going to have to lower budgets to save more revenue, or to save more money, I should say, with their upcoming Star Wars shows, and that's not right. Now, when you look at Dave Filoni, I mean, this guy really poured his heart and soul into the Ahsoka series, and yeah, I get how a lot of people may be turned off. Some people may be turned off that, you know, perhaps we haven't seen exactly one episode just yet, so let's not rush to conclusions. I get that overall skepticism 100%. But given that he wrote the entire thing and Kennedy had zero involvement, I think that a lot of fans should definitely give this show at least a chance to see what Dave and John have to truly offer with the absence of Kathleen Kennedy. Now, this is a very interesting addition to all of this. The fact that they are going to lose lots of money on Indy 5, Skeleton Crew, and the Acolyte, because not only will Skeleton and Acolyte contribute to subscriber loss, but it's also going to contribute to going over budget, which they already did, and they're going to be lowering the marketing, so it's not going to get out there as much. This is why they absolutely refused to showcase trailers to the public at, of course, Celebration, and only showed it to the attendees. So Acolyte and Skeleton Crew trailers were shown, but only to people that attended Star Wars Celebration, to be specific. This is why you have leaked footage online that's really blurry and pixelated. It's because they did not want to put it out there just yet, because they're trying to fine-tune and right-size their marketing strategy for both of those shows. So what's interesting about this further, this is where things get very tricky and really can go very sideways easily, is that Kathleen Kennedy is trying to add more budgeting to the reshoots and the overall revisions to Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte. Now, the Acolyte just wrapped filming just a couple of days ago, but they are planning to do more reshoots by this fall, ahead of its spring 2024 release date window. I don't believe it's going to make it. I believe it's going to hit in summer, but that's just my 2 cents. But guys, I would love to hear what each and every one of you guys have to say about this whole situation over at Lucasfilm, potentially, you know, going into a bigger domino effect after these disasters in the making that's going to cost them millions upon millions. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.